What's up everybody, Joshua Casper back at you with Plugin Boutique, and I've got a pretty cool video for you today. I'm going to show you how to use Lifeline Console to add a bit of nice character-driven noise to your drums, and also generate synced rhythmic noise to, again, spice up an otherwise dry drum loop. It's a little bit difficult to explain, so the best thing to do is just to jump right in. So this is my drum track. All right, now what I've done is use Lifeline Console to do this. And I've made that a lot louder in the edit just so you can hear it really well. And then I've also used Lifeline Console to do this. And those three together sound like this. Just the drum loop. Now with console. Trust me when I say it's those little details that really make your track stand out today, and Lifeline Console does that for you pretty much automatically, and I'm going to show you how to do both things right now in the video. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and delete Lifeline Console from here and from here as well, and we'll start with the rhythmic noise first. So when I drop Lifeline Console onto the channel, I'm going to take whir and put it over here in front of the EQ. This is what we hear. And it's turned way down. I'm going to turn the reverb off, bring it back up, and center it. It's essentially just the drum loop we have. But when we jump into whir, I'm going to flip over to the advanced panel here, and we're going to jump right into the age section. The noise section, we're going to talk about in the next part, but right now we just want to concentrate on age. If I bring up the gain of the artifacts and increase the speed and then hit play, you can actually see them update here in the spectrum analyzer or the waveform view, which I think is very cool, but you can also hear them, right? And we've got 3 different algorithms to choose from. We've got tape, vinyl, cassette. Each one of those is going to have a different type of artifact sound. So you can hear the different flavors there. I quite like the vinyl, so we'll start there. The next thing we need to do is just jump into noise real quick. And instead of constant, I'm going to go ahead and set it to trigger. When it's on trigger, you won't hear the drum loop anymore. You'll only hear the noise. All right, so we're going to jump back over to age here, and we can turn on sync now. When we turn on sync, we'll actually be able to set up a rhythmic pattern. So here I'm on quarter notes. And if I play it, remember, we're not going to hear the drum loop. We're just going to hear the actual artifacts being generated. All right, we can speed it up if we wanted. Maybe 1/8. So you can hear there's sort of like a percussive noise sound that's coming out in a rhythmic pattern depending on what sort of sync settings we have. Now, if I introduce the age parameter here, we'll actually roll off a bit of that low end, which is what I'm looking for. But if you want to keep it and then just use your EQ over here, you've got right here on the main page, you can just do a little roll off there as well. So that's way too fast. I'm going to bring it back down to a quarter note, and I'm going to play it with my drum loop, and let's see what we got. And it's just adding that extra bit of character and detail to the track. So what I would do, and what I did in the beginning, was just added some reverb. I've got it on my send channel here. I pulled it way back and pushed it way back in the mix and kind of panned it a little bit over to the right. So we've got it at negative 14 dB, pushed a little bit over to the right with some reverb on it. It's just adding that extra bit. Maybe pull down the reverb a little bit. We can come back and decide on mixed stuff later. That's one way of getting rhythmic vinyl noise artifacts added to our channel using the information from that drum loop and the sync function in the whir module. Now there's another way we can use this whir module which you will probably find yourself using a lot more than the other one, but I just wanted to show you that other one. And that is to use the noise to add character to a snare, for example. Could be any of the drums, but if you look inside the project, all I've done is deleted all of the kicks and left the snare there. And I've got the channel soloed. Again, let's bypass all of these other modules, jump into the advanced panel on the whir module here and come into noise. And I just want to show you something. So we got constant, and if the noise is constant and I bring over some noise, we can hear it. So we got amp, hum, mechanical, and dust. And dust is the one I'm going to be using here. The idea is to get a balance of those for the actual noise that you like. And you set that at 100, and then you can dial things in that way. So the ratio between the four will stay the same, or the balance. Okay? If we're on duct, when the kick or snare happens here, that noise will duck out of the way to make sure our mix stays clean. And dynamic will trigger the noise in relation to the incoming signal. And remember, trigger will do that same thing, but will remove the original signal. So that's essentially the sound we're looking for. I really want to bring up this dust. That is such a great sound. We can bring the sustain all the way down because when the snare is not happening, I do not want any sound. So you can hear that, and maybe I can turn it up on the output here. And just a little bit of release. And again, we can add or mix the 4 different noises we have available. I'm going to get rid of the hum because it's going to happen with the snare. But the mechanical will add a little bit of mid-end. And again, if we want to do a little bit of mixing, we can roll off the ultra lows. You know, the snare's probably happening around 200. So just give it a little bit of room to breathe. And then we're just going to be adding character to that snare. And if we listen to it with the original drum loop now. You know, that's too loud, but it sounds great. So you can hear how it's adding the character there. If I go ahead and just solo the drum loop again, it's a pretty boring snare, but with console adding a little bit of noise to it, I think we can all agree it just sounds better. And then if we add those rhythmic artifacts as well, just sounds more interesting. And then if we play the entire track together, I think you'll agree that it's adding a bunch of character to this track. This is just one of the many, many, many things Lifeline Console can do. In fact, it's not even the designated purpose of the plugin, but I love coming in and finding neat and cool things you can do with plugins outside of their intended purposes. Lifeline Console is available already on Plugin Boutique. I've done a bunch of video tutorials covering everything you need to know about this plugin, so I'm going to leave links to those and link to the product page on Plugin Boutique in the video description. Check it out. And as usual, I'm Joshua Casper. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next video.